Hi there, this is Rick Leventhal, former senior correspondent at Fox News Channel, frequent war correspondent. I wanted to take a couple minutes and just talk about what it means to be a war correspondent and to pay my respects and tribute to Ernie Pyle, who blazed the trail for so many of us. He and I shared, I think, in that we both wanted to serve our country, but realized and found out we couldn't. I was too old. He might have been too small. But, we wanted to do what we could. In my case, it was after 9/11. I went to Afghanistan within a couple of months, and I went back several times and to Iraq several times to tell the stories of the men and women who were doing the fighting and serving their country overseas. Being a war correspondent, as far as I'm concerned, is a pinnacle of being a journalist. It is the ultimate assignment. And Ernie Pyle knew that better than anybody, and he was there because he loved it. And he was there to tell the stories, to share the challenges and the achievements and the defeats of the people who had the courage to go, the people who had the courage to serve and who had the desire and the strength to be there on the front lines and do what needed to be done to fight for their country. And that's something that I felt really strongly about, telling their stories. They were there and they needed support. They didn't need it. They were going to do it no matter what. But I felt like I wanted to give them that support, and I wanted to share their stories with the American people. And that's what I did. And that's what Ernie Pyle did. And he did it at a time where there were even greater challenges. And I respect him so much. And I respect the profession. And again, I think this is what makes journalism great. Happy National Ernie Pyle Day to all of you. Thank you for asking me to share my thoughts on this. And stay safe.
Hi, I'm Jerry Maschino, Executive Director of the Ernie Pyle Foundation. And it's that time again. Welcome to National Ernie Pyle Day, August 3rd, 2022. Now, I'd like to introduce you to one of our newest board members, Washington Post editor, Jamie Zega. Jamie?
Thank you, Jerry. Hi, I'm Jamie Zega, and I'd like to introduce our guest, Dallas Morning News columnist Dave Lieber. Like Ernie Pyle was before him, Dave, too, is beleaguered by deadlines. Dave, happy National Ernie Pyle Day.
Thanks. Same to you, Jamie.
So, how do you think Ernie Pyle would fit into the way we get our news now in 2022?
Well, he would have a problem with the production. I mean, it's one thing. He used to write his story on a typewriter, and then he'd have Western Union send it back home to all the newspapers. But now today, he'd be worried about the software to input it into his laptop. And then he'd have to worry about keywords, and he'd have to do meta and data and key and all the different things that almost take as long to write a story as it does to input it into the software so it can go online. So he would have not liked that. But otherwise, I think he would have still been America's most popular writer and definitely America's most favorite columnist because of his sensitivity that he had towards the subject, the emotions that he captured in his stories, but most of all, the heart that he brought from himself and the heart that he brought from his story subjects. So, because good writing is good writing, whether it's the 1800s, the 1900s, the 21st century. So I do believe in my heart that he would have been extremely popular and well regarded, highly respected, and beloved by his readers as he was back in the 20s and 30s and 40s.
What do you think he'd have had a good Twitter following?
Yes. Oh, he definitely would have had a good Twitter following. I don't know that he would have liked Twitter, but it kind of Twitter would have been made for him because he would have been able to send back home the Twitter handles of the privates that he was meeting during World War II. What's your handle on Twitter, private? And he'd tweet back home, hey, Mrs. McGillicuddy in Ohio, I want you to know that I met at Sergeant Joseph O'Malley yesterday at the front lines, and he's doing great. He sends his love. And then Ernie would tweet out a selfie of the two of them together.
The idea of Ernie posting selfies, it's great.
Thing about Ernie is I wonder if he had lived, what he would have become, how he would have spent the rest of his career. And I assume he would have taken a year and a half off, gone back to his home in Albuquerque, which I visited, and just decompress. There wouldn't have been any psychological therapy because World War II vets didn't have that. But he would have, I think he would have been offered like editorships at the major newspapers in America. Probably would have turned it down. I can't imagine him going back on the road and doing a column a day across America like he did in the 30s. But I think he would have been a great mentor to writers like me, and really taught us how to write the way he wrote, which was just beautiful, sparse English language, short sentences, lots of great dialogue, tremendous scenes, wonderful storytelling. That all would have just continued on in a different format for him for the rest of his life, and it would have been something special to watch.
The Ernie Pyle Legacy Foundation has a series of awards which we give annually to support Ernie Pyle. Today we are awarding the Ernie Pyle Legacy Award for expertise in journalism that follows in Ernie's footsteps. And Dave, we feel that your writings and it falls in the attributes of Ernie Pyle. So we'd like to present to you this award in honor of Ernie Pyle for all your good work and all your efforts.
Thank you. Thank you to the foundation. To be associated in any way, shape, or form with Ernie Pyle is about the highest honor that I can receive as a journalist. And so this means more to me than you can ever imagine. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
To have your name associated with Ernie Pyle's name is the greatest honor I could have in my writing career, because he's my hero. I've learned from his writing, I've studied his life, and he represents everything that I want to be as a journalist. And so this is such a great honor to me.
What would you say is his biggest influence on you as a writer?
Well, there were several. One was his storytelling. He was a magical storytelling expert. Nobody better. Second was the actual writing. His use of the English language was absolutely phenomenal, and his very simple style really was effective. And the third thing was his relationship with his wife, Jerry. He called her that girl who rides with me. They traveled together in a car in the 30s and stopped off at a different town every day and wrote a different column every single day that he could. And I kind of have that same relationship with my wife, Karen. We've been married 27 years, and she's that girl who rides with me. And, I just those are the three things I think that helped me become a better writer. My wife's influence and Ernie's style of writing and Ernie's stories that he would find. Those are kind of attributes that I emulate.
Thank you, Dave, for taking the time to be with us here today. How can people get in touch with you?
Well, let's see. DaveLieber.org is my home site.
Again, congratulations on winning this year's Ernie Pyle Legacy Foundation Award for Writing. And happy National Ernie Pyle Day.
Happy National Ernie Pyle Day to you too, and thank you so much for this tremendous honor.
Hello, everybody. I'm Michael Brainard, and I'm a board member at the Ernie Pyle Legacy Foundation. And I'm here to thank you for your interest in our celebration of National Ernie Pyle Day 2022. It was just 5 years ago that, with an assist from our foundation, Indiana Senators Todd Young and Joe Donnelly spearheaded a resolution for an August 3rd National Ernie Pyle Day. Lo and behold, it was unanimously passed. So each year on this day, we will be here, remembering our favorite Pulitzer Prize-winning newspaper man and American hero of the people. And we have a lot of great things planned this next year to help promote the life and work of the great Ernie Pyle. We hope that you stay tuned, and thanks again for being here with us. Happy National Ernie Pyle Day.